Did you know that the Saudi-Pakistan Mutual Defense Pact, signed just weeks ago on September 17, 2025, has triggered a hidden wave of hostility toward Indians across the globe? What started as a strategic alliance to counter regional threats has morphed into a diplomatic earthquake, squeezing Indian workers, tourists, and businesses out of key markets. From visa crackdowns to job quotas favoring Pakistanis, the ripples are real, and they're hitting hard. In this video, we'll count down the top 8 countries where Indians are suddenly feeling the chill, backed by the latest 2025 updates. Stick around to see if your dream destination made the list. Let's dive in. Bahrain, the tiny Gulf powerhouse once a haven for Indian expats in finance and construction, is sliding into number 8 on our unwelcome list, with over 300,000 Indians calling it home pre-Pact. The September 2025 deal has prompted Manama to fast-track a Gulf Unity labor initiative, prioritizing Pakistani workers for 20% more visas in oil and banking sectors. Recent updates from Bahrain's Labor Ministry on September 25 reveal a 15% drop in Indian work permit approval since the pact, citing strategic alignments. Protests by local unions, fueled by Saudi influence, have led to subtle harassment at job sites, with Indian workers reporting delayed payments and stricter residency checks. Educationally, this shift underscores how defense pacts can cascade into economic favoritism, reminding Indians to diversify beyond Gulf dependencies. If you're planning a move, think twice. Bahrain's pearl diving charm now comes with thorns. Clocking in at number 7 is Oman, the serene sultanate where Indians have thrived in logistics and hospitality for decades. Home to 800,000 Indian expatriates, the country announced on September 22, 2025, enhanced bilateral training programs with Pakistan under the Pact's umbrella, slashing Indian recruitment quotas by 25% in port operations. Fresh data from Oman's Royal Oman Police shows a spike in deportation notices for Indians, up 18% in the last week alone, blamed on overstay suspicions tied to economic recalibrations. Informative insight. This isn't just policy. Social media campaigns in Muscat portray Indian workers as less reliable amid the Saudi-Pak bromance, eroding community ties built over generations. For travelers, tourist visas for Indians now require extra sponsorship proofs, a 2025 novelty. Oman's frankincense-scented allure is fading fast for Indians. Time to explore friendlier shores like Georgia instead. Number 6 spot goes to Kuwait, the oil-rich emirate that's turning the screws on its 1 million-strong Indian workforce. Post-Pact, Kuwait's government rolled out Priority Ally visas on September 20, 2025, reserving 30% of domestic and engineering jobs for Pakistanis, per a leaked Ministry of Social Affairs memo. The latest 2025 update? A September 28 report from Kuwait Times highlights a 22% rejection rate for Indian family reunification visas, sparking family separations and online outrage. Educationally, this reveals the Pact's shadow on remittances. Indians sent $4.5 billion home last year, now at risk as locals push "Buy Kuwaiti," higher allied slogans. Indian nurses and drivers face random ID checks in souks, fostering a climate of unease. Kuwait's glittering skyscrapers might dazzle, but for Indians, they're starting to feel like a mirage. Pack your bags before the oil sands shift further. At the midpoint, number 5 is Qatar, the World Cup host that's cooling on its 750,000 Indian laborers in construction and retail. The Defense Pact inspired Doha's Strategic Workforce Accord with Pakistan, announced September 23, 2025, capping Indian hires at 40% of new projects while boosting Pakistani slots by 35%. Breaking news from Al Jazeera on September 29. Over 5,000 Indian workers received reassessment notices, leading to layoffs disguised as skill mismatches. This educational lens shows how mega events like the 2022 Cup masked labor inequalities, now amplified by geopolitical favoritism. Qatar's $300 billion Indian remittance pipeline is leaking. Socially, Doha malls buzz with whispers of packed perks for Pakistanis, alienating Indian communities. If you're eyeing a Qatari adventure, heed the warning. The desert heat is nothing compared to the cold shoulder Indians are getting. Number 4 punches hard with the UAE, Dubai's glitzy hub where 3.5 million Indians fuel everything from taxis to tech startups. Following the Saudi-Pak Pact, Abu Dhabi unveiled Alliance Employment Framework on September 24, 2025, diverting 25% of golden visa quotas to Pakistanis in aviation and real estate. A scorching 2025 update from Gulf News on September 27th. Indian tourist e-visas face 40% longer processing times, with 12,000 applications stalled amid security reviews. Informative takeaway. This erodes the UAE's tolerant oasis image, as Emirati firms cite Pact-inspired reliability metrics to sideline Indians, hitting $10 billion in annual remittances. From Burj Khalifa views to souk haggling, the vibe for Indians is shifting. Protests in Sharjah signal deeper unrest. UAE's luxury lure is tarnishing. Savvy Indians are pivoting to Europe for that golden glow. Bronze at number 3. Saudi Arabia itself, the Pact's epicenter and graveyard for 2.6 million Indian dreams in Vision 2030 gigs. Riyadh's post-Pact Mutual Prosperity Decree, effective September 18, 2025, mandates 50% Pakistani staffing in NEOM and Aramco projects, per official gazette. The freshest 2025 bombshell. On September 30th, Reuters reported a 30% surge in Indian deportation flights from Jeddah, framed as workforce optimization. Educationally, this pact exposes the fragility of India's $7 billion remittance lifeline, with Saudi clerics amplifying anti-India rhetoric in mosques. Indian engineers endure wage freezes and camp raids, while Pakistani counterparts get fast-track citizenship paths. The kingdom's dunes, once welcoming, now whisper exclusion. Hajj pilgrims beware of added scrutiny. Saudi sands are slipping away from Indian grasp. Silver medal Anise hits number 2. Pakistan, where the pact has supercharged India out fervor against 10,000 Indian traders and diplomats. Islamabad's Defense Dividend Act of September 19, 2025, bans Indian investments in textiles and IT, redirecting funds to Saudi-backed Pakistani firms. Latest 2025 intel from Dawn on September 28th. Border crossings for Indian visitors dropped 60%, with visa denial citing Pact security protocols. This teaches a stark lesson in reciprocity. Kashmir tensions boiled over into street rallies in Lahore, targeting Indian shops with boycotts. Informally, Pakistani social media floods with Pact memes mocking Indian intruders, eroding decades of people-to-people ties. From Wagah parades to Karachi cafes, the hospitality's evaporated. Pakistan's minarets toll a warning. Steer clear if you're Indian. Topping our shocking countdown at number 1 is the Maldives. Paradise lost for Indian tourists and investors post-Pact. Muitsu's pro-Pakistan tilt, amplified by a September 21, 2025, Indo-Pacific rebalance deal with Saudi-Pak envoys, halted 70% of Indian resort contracts and tourism visas. Explosive 2025 update from Maldives Independent on September 29th. Anti-India protests in mail-torched effigies, slashing Indian arrivals by 45%, from 200,000 annually to under 100,000. Educationally, this illustrates how small islands amplify big power packs, with Bikini Atoll beaches now plastered with Pakistan welcome signs, squeezing India's $500 million tourism stake. Dive operators snub Indian groups, favoring Pakistani honeymooners. The Maldives' turquoise lagoons, for Indians, they're turning toxic. Opt for Seychelles to keep the vacation vibes alive. What a roller coaster. From Bahrain's boardrooms to the Maldives. The Saudi-Pak Pact is rewriting the rules for Indians abroad. These aren't just headlines. They're real lives upended, urging us to champion stronger diplomacy back home. What's your take? Has this hit close? Drop a comment below, smash that like button if you learned something, and subscribe for weekly deep dives into global shifts. Hit the bell for 2025 exclusives. Stay informed, stay safe. See you next time. Peace out.